let's jump right into this explainer and unlock the real power sitting right there in your smartphone. We're looking at a feature that has literally transformed how we handle our money. I mean, no more waiting in those long lines at the branch, right?
Seriously, imagine depositing a check without ever stepping foot inside a bank. No more trying to squeeze a bank run into your lunch break. That level of absolute convenience is exactly what we're breaking down today. This explainer is your quick, comprehensive guide to doing exactly that using the Chase mobile app. By the end of this, you're going to have the confidence to handle those paper checks without ever leaving your couch.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, getting started with Chase. Then, preparing and endorsing checks. Third, a step-by-step deposit walkthrough. After that, navigating limits and holds, followed by mobile banking security practices, and finally, disclaimers and customer support.
All right, part 1. Getting started with Chase.
Before you can snap a photo of that check, you actually need the right tools. First things first, you've got to download the Chase mobile app. It is right there on both the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store. You will want to make sure your phone is running a compatible operating system, though. We're talking iOS 11 or higher for Apple folks, or Android 12 and above. Once it's installed, just open it up and hit Sign In. You're just going to use your standard Chase online username and password. Now, if it is your very first time signing in on this particular phone, Chase does use a multi-factor authentication process, just to verify it is really you. They'll prompt you to register the device by requesting a quick identification code. You can grab that via email, a phone call, or a text message. You just punch in that code and boom, you are officially in.
Let's move on to Section 2, preparing and endorsing checks.
Okay, I really can't stress this step enough. Before you even think about opening your phone's camera, you have got to endorse the check properly. You need to sign the back, just like always, but right underneath your signature, you must write a very specific phrase. For standard Chase customers, you write, "For electronic deposit only at Chase." And hey, if you happen to be a JP Morgan client, it is "For electronic deposit at JP Morgan only." Writing this exact restrictive endorsement is a strict requirement. Honestly, forgetting to include it is one of the most common reasons a mobile deposit just flat out gets rejected.
And actually, this brings up a super amusing piece of banking trivia from our sources. When mobile check deposits first rolled out, Chase originally told users to write, "For electronic deposit only at Chase." But word on the street is some grammar nerd out there must have tapped them on the shoulder about modifier placement, because eventually, Chase updated their official instructions to read, "For electronic deposit at Chase only." It is such a subtle shift, but kind of a hilarious reminder that even giant financial institutions have to mind their syntax, right? Anyway, regardless of which exact grammatical arrangement you use from their approved list, the big takeaway is just making sure the bank's name and the electronic nature of the deposit are clearly written right under your signature.
Okay, part 3. Step-by-step deposit walkthrough. So, you're signed in and your check is endorsed. Now what? Well, on the main menu of the app, you're going to look for the button that says Pay and Transfer. Give that a tap, and then select Deposit Checks. From there, the app just asks you to choose which of your eligible accounts you actually want the money to land in. Next, you carefully type in the exact amount written on the front of the check. Take a quick second here to double-check those numbers. Seriously, a little accuracy right here saves you from a massive headache of processing delays later on.
All right, now comes the fun part, the photography. Go ahead and place your check flat on a dark, non-reflective background. You might be wondering, why a dark background? Well, it's not just to make it look cool. That high contrast between the dark table and the light check paper is what allows the app's visual processor to easily find the boundaries and corners of your document, so you tap Front in the app. And here's where it gets cool. Chase built this truly brilliant feature called Auto Capture. You don't even have to press a shutter button most of the time. You just hover your phone over the check, and this auto capture mechanism actively monitors the lighting, the focus, the tilt of your phone, and the edge alignment. Once it decides the image is perfect, it just snaps the photo automatically. It is incredibly slick. You'll do that exact same thing for the back of the check just to prove your endorsement is legible. Finally, review all your deposit details on the screen, hit Submit, and you're totally done.
Moving right along to Section 4, navigating limits and holds.
Now, it is absolutely crucial to know that you can't just deposit an infinite amount of money through your phone. There are limits, mainly to protect both you and the bank. For standard accounts, the maximum amount you can deposit is usually $2,000 a day, or a total of $5,000 in any rolling 30-day period. However, if you happen to be a Chase private client, those thresholds jump up dramatically. Private clients can deposit up to $25,000 a day and up to $100,000 in a rolling 30-day period.
Beyond just the dollar amount, you also need to know what physical types of paper the app will actually accept. It happily takes standard U.S. checks, so we're talking personal checks made out to you, business checks, cashier's checks, and government checks, like, say, your tax refund. But you have got to be careful because you definitely cannot scan everything. The system is going to explicitly reject international checks, money orders, traveler's checks, U.S. savings bonds, and third-party checks. And by third-party, I mean a check made out to someone else who then signed it over to you. For any of those, you're definitely going to need to make a trip to a physical branch.
So, once you actually hit submit, when do you get to spend that money? Generally speaking, if everything looks good, funds deposited through the mobile app are typically available by the next business day. But there is one pretty notable exception hidden in the fine print. If you're depositing into an investment account, those checks are subject to a much longer review process. They actually carry a 7-business-day withdrawal hold. So if you're managing investments, definitely plan accordingly for that delay.
Let's look at Section 5, Mobile Banking Security Practices. I completely get that taking pictures of your financial documents on your phone can feel, well, a little nerve-wracking. But rest assured, Chase has built several layers of heavy-duty security into this whole process. First off, all the data transmitted between your phone and the bank is protected by 128-bit Secure Socket Layer, or SSL, encryption. Second, you can totally lock down access to the app using biometric login. Think Apple's Face ID, Touch ID, or Google's fingerprint login. But honestly, perhaps the most reassuring feature is this. The check deposit data and the actual photos you take are never, ever stored on your mobile device. There is literally zero risk of a sensitive check photo just sitting in your camera roll for someone to find if you lose your phone. It is processed securely right within the app and sent directly to the bank.
And finally, Section 6, Disclaimers and Customer Support.
Look, technology is fantastic, but it definitely isn't flawless. You might run into a check that is just too faded to scan. Maybe a deposit gets rejected because you hit a limit, or you just hit some weird, unexpected technical glitch. If any of that happens, just remember that bank policies and limits can change at any time. We always advise you to consult the official Chase resources, dig into the help sections right there in the app, or just contact Chase customer support directly. They're going to give you the most personalized, up-to-date assistance for your specific account.
So think about what we've covered today, from securely logging in to understanding exactly how to endorse that check to letting AutoCapture just do the heavy lifting for you. The future of digital banking is quite literally already resting in the palm of your hand. I mean, no more rushing across town to beat branch closing times. No more filling out those little paper deposit slips. So the only question left for you is, are you ready to cash in on this incredible convenience the next time someone hands you a check? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and hey, happy digital banking.